A very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to Monday's edition of the Evening Review. My name is Tewan Jabela, your host. Tonight on the show, we are welcoming back Swapo Party veteran Nahas Angula. He's also former Prime Minister of Namibia, but he is now, as he calls himself, just a citizen. And we are here to reflect a little bit on the events of the weekend where the Swapo Party nominated and sort of endorsed its candidates for the Congress in November. Welcome back to the show, Citizen.
Thank you for having me today.
Wonderful. What was your impression of what happened at the Central Committee over the weekend?
Well, to me, it was just a routine of events leading up to the Congress in November. People nominated their candidates, and that is usually what Swapo does in preparation of the Congress. I was not there myself. I'm not quite sure the exact activities, who nominated whom, who seconded him, who voted for what. I was not there, but the results are there in the newspapers for all to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your impression of the candidates?
Well, the candidates are there. I normally don't judge people. It's just like saying don't judge a book by the cover.
Yeah.
I don't judge people by their faces or their names. I judge people about what they stand for. What ideals are they articulating? What kind of programs they intend to put into place to address the myriad challenges faced by the people of Namibia today and in the future. So once they pronounce themselves that way, I'll be able to say, yeah, this one has got something to offer to the public.
Yeah.
I also look at whether a person is really enthusiastic about what he or she wants to do, and whether this person understands fully the challenges faced by this country and its people.
Yeah.
Yes.
The vice president's candidates, who do you know personally there? I mean, I suppose you've served in the same cabinet as the two ladies, Netumana Nindaitwa, Sarah Kugangelwa. It's only Kapofi that you have never served with in cabinet.
Oh, I served with Kapofi for a long time.
But only as a secretary to cabinet.
It's a secretary to the cabinet. When you are secretary to the cabinet, you interact with cabinet members. That time I was a prime minister. So we used to interact, especially when it comes to civil servants affairs. You know, we had tough times those days, people demanding this allowance, that allowance, increase of salaries.
Yeah.
And we have to work together with Comrade Kapofi to see how much the government is able to offer, spending sleepless nights negotiating and all that kind of thing.
Can he become president? Will he make a good president?
That I don't know. Because you know what?
Yeah.
When you are serving under somebody, there are limitations. You can't really fully express your enthusiasm, your initiatives, because you wait for orders from your appointing authority and all that. So you will not be able really to discover with this person acting by his own will, will initiate programs which will take the country forward. It's very difficult.
How do you think he made it? I don't want to make it about Kapofi now, but how do you think he made it through the nominations? Because the last time you were on the show, you, if I remember correctly, you were actually one of the critics of this so-called Helmut amendments, because I remember you giving an example of people who were busy with other duties of national importance. Maybe they were army generals or whatever, and because they never had a chance to serve in the Central Committee as per the requirements of those amendments, that they are now left out. What happened there? What are you hearing?
Well, the so-called Helmut amendments, which are actually our amendments.
Yeah.
The amendments mandate from Political Bureau. They go to the Central Committee. If you didn't object at that time, you are part of it. Then eventually to the Congress. Now, as to comment Kapofi's emerging as one of the candidates for the vice president, I'm not quite sure actually how it happened, because to the best of my knowledge, he was not in the structures of the party.
Yeah.
And now I understand he's leading a district or something somewhere in Oshkoto there.
Yeah.
How that happened, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a chance for you now to bring these people here to tell us whether they think that the process they followed was above board.
Yeah.
It's only them who can explain that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which brings me now to the same. So we are told, for example, again, that Kapofi served diligently. He served Swapo diligently during the liberation struggle. I think he was a commander of some sort. I'm not too sure of which capacity.
He was a political commissar.
Yeah, yeah.
Then at one time we had this health and education center in Zambia called Nyango.
Mm-hmm.
He was the director of that institution for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of service to Swapo, he did serve Swapo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of service in the government, he did serve in the government, though not in a political position, but in a civil service position.
Yeah, exactly. So it wouldn't have been then fair in the broader sense, really, that and whether it's Kapofi or someone else who have served in that capacity, they have served Swapo. Not just in the Central Committee, because Swapo is not only served in that capacity of Central Committee. So then to come and say, yes, you have served Swapo excellently in other capacities, but because you were not in the Central Committee, then somehow you no longer matter. That can't be fair, can it?
But there are procedures which are articulated in Swapo documents, like the Constitution, the procedure documents, which require that you have to go through certain leadership structures in order for you to be able to do certain things.
Yeah.
I think what people are questioning is whether these procedures were followed.
Yeah.
For example, you cannot be a member of a district executive committee if you are not a member of the branch.
Yeah.
You cannot be a member of a regional executive if you are not somewhere from a district. Then you cannot be a member of the political bureau unless you are a central committee.
Yeah.
These kind of things. There are procedures there which are accepted by everybody that you have to follow.
Yeah.
Of course, things change. I don't know exactly what kind of procedures were followed. But as I said, these people now are public figures. call them here and question them. How did you jump the line?
Yes. No, I hope they will accept my invitation. Before we go for the break, Tate Nahas, one of the talking points now also is the lack of ethnic diversity in particularly the two most important positions in the context of this particular Congress, which is now Vice President and Secretary General, is people from one ethnic group. Of course, the questions are whether this was by default or by design. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, what I can say is this, that I don't want to see people as if they are saving their ethnic groups. I don't want to see that. But at the same time, there must be a national character in the party like Swapo to reflect the national character of the country. Now, what has emerged is what we see now. How it happened, I'm not quite sure, but those in leadership can explain. That is what we have now. What we have to do is to look at the character of a person now. When you go to either the Congress or when you go to general elections, what kind of a person we are going to elect? What is the vision of this person? What's the character of this person in terms of nation building?
Yeah.
You have to look at all these parameters and make a decision. It's a voter.
Indeed. We go for a quick break and return for second half.
In Business 7, you get news on current economic, financial, and business matters in Namibia. The weekly show features interviews with experts and in-depth analysis of burning issues in a way that caters for ordinary Namibians and business connoisseurs alike. For news-related or advertising queries, please contact b7@synergy.com.na.
We continue the conversation here with Nahas Angula. Another contentious issue, Honorable, here is President Hage Geingob's refusal so far to endorse anyone. There was hope, especially in the Netumbo camp, that he will carry the tradition of Sam Nujoma having endorsed Pohamba, who was vice president at the time, Pohamba endorsing Hage Geingob as his vice president, deputy in the party at the time. This time around, Hage Geingob didn't endorse anyone. What is your take?
Well, there I must really commend the president for taking that position, because this thing of endorsement is not quite democratic, really. It's like some kind of chieftainship or something. Let people out there decide whom they want to lead them.
Yeah.
The other point here is that public endorsement is one thing, but private support to whoever you prefer is probably still there.
Yeah.
It's probably still there. So that gives advantage of that candidate who's perceived by the public as a favorite to the president, especially a president who still has 2 years to go, especially by those who for those who are Central Committee, those who are in the cabinet, those who are in parliament, they still know that they depend upon this person.
Yeah.
If they form a perception, then still it's a form of endorsement.
Yeah, but that is much better, isn't it? I mean, because obviously...
Sure, it's a good beginning.
It's a human...
If you can go that way, that direction, because those things which happened before, we were still building institutions.
Yeah.
We were still looking at the elders to guide and all that kind of thing. But this is a good beginning, I must say.
Yeah.
That you should not be seen, given the power you have, to be diminishing democracy.
Yeah. Is it possible, though? So, on public endorsements, I agree with you totally that it disadvantages, it advantages one candidate over others. There I agree. But private support of a particular person, is it ever possible not to have a favorite? Even yourself, you wouldn't tell me who your favorite candidate in the VC contest, but I'm sure deep inside yourself, you know who you think is better suited to take us to the next level. So,
surely. Yeah, surely. I do know the strengths and weaknesses of some of these comrades.
Yeah.
And on the balance of things, of course, you say perhaps this one, perhaps that one.
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
But I will not go out there and say I endorse A, B, C, D. I will say I endorse the view of this candidate as to how this candidate is going to tackle the informal settlements in urban areas, or how this candidate is going to tackle youth unemployment, or how this candidate is going to tackle the ever-escalating debt, national debt, how this candidate is going to tackle the trade imbalances. You know, we have a serious trade imbalances. We export little and we import too much.
Yeah.
And it's not a healthy economic situation. You should have some kind of a balance. It's like you are in a household and you go there buying meat at a credit, and you know that you are going to pay that credit or something.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your case now, you have nothing to lose to say who you support. Who do you support?
I said I don't support faces. I support ideas.
Whose ideals do you support?
They have not pronounced themselves. They are still there. Let them pronounce themselves.
Yeah.
I have talked about these challenges of inequality, poverty, problem for housing in urban areas, youth unemployment, rural poverty, and all these kind of things.
Yeah.
If they pronounce themselves on these challenges, I would say this one need to be supported to achieve these objectives.
Yeah. Now, as someone who lived through that Congress experience, especially in 2004, is the closest you were to becoming president of this country. And at the time, the head of the party, who also happened to be head of state and therefore really a powerful person, endorsed one of your competitors. You were three, yourself, Hidiba Mtenya, Tade Pohamba. He supported Tade Pohamba or nominated him, something to that effect at the CC meeting. What did that do, that endorsement, what did it do to the dynamics of the competition that you were in? And therefore putting you in a particular, maybe disadvantage also?
You know, African societies still look to elders for guidance.
Yeah.
Now, in my language, they say what is in the pot is put there by the elder.
Yeah.
So that is the psychology
of
the Africans. But 2004, there was still comradeship.
Yeah.
There was still comradeship. In the sense that Comrade Pohamba, of course, was an elder. He was respected by everybody. And he was also, after his elections, he didn't see that he won, the other people are vanquished.
Yeah.
He didn't see it that way. So he included everybody in his lineup. That was a different spirit.
Yeah.
2017, the situation was such that money played a role. And that culture of endorsement is still haunting us.
Mm.
People, if you go to campaign, the member to candidate, somebody who's coming to a congress will ask, what is in it for me?
Yeah.
Can you put petrol in my car? This kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of us have our own principles. I will not buy a political position. If I'm campaigning for a political position, it's to provide service.
Yeah.
I will not buy a position. I'm a hunger field. I live on that. I have worked for government for a long time.
Yeah.
I have my small pension. I live on that. I'm not doing anything like seeking a political office because of material benefit.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to induce anybody, even if I had money, which I don't have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously the consequences are obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that will come into sharper focus again during these campaigns as they kick off on Wednesday this week is, how do you fund a campaign like that ahead of Congress? You spoke about inducement. That is obviously illegal, or at least the way it happened with the fish rot involvement that we are hearing, that was obviously illegal, and we have people in jail for that. But if you were to conduct a clean, ethical campaign, how do you fund it? Because obviously resources are required there.
Well, you mobilize those who are supporting you. Of course, it's a risk. You see the best you can do on your own, and you send your message out there.
Yeah.
But as I said, I'm not quite sure whether we can really have a clean campaign in a country with so many poor people.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure whether that happens, but I don't even believe that you will have true democracy in a country with so many people who are so hungry, who are unemployed. Those who have money will always have their way in this kind of thing. But what's important is participation is important. It's part of democracy.
Yeah.
Don't worry about winning and losing. You offer yourself because you believe that you can make a contribution to the welfare of the people and the progress of the country. If people understood you, but which sometimes they don't, because they don't even read, they will perhaps give you their confidence and vote for you.
Mm-hmm.
But in many cases, people are impressed by superficial things.
Yeah.
Like going there to dance to the public or something like that. What does that contribute to the progress of the country? Those kind of things.
Yeah.
Or if you're a good singer, you sing loud, then people get impressed by that, but they don't know what you are capable of delivering. That's unfortunate of our societies. We don't really scrutinize the substantive issues about the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we look with, oh, this guy dresses well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since he's well dressed, yeah, I trust him.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate because we end up electing people who are just going to save themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The final question then, and I'm taking you back to the issue of endorsements by a sitting head of state or a sitting party president. You are saying what President Hage Geingob has done in this case, not publicly endorsing anyone, is a good thing, it's a good start. Must it become a constitutional provision within the party statutes, or must we leave it to the whims of individual incumbents?
Well, if it becomes formalized in the procedures of the, perhaps not the constitution, but procedures of electoral procedures of the party, that will be good. Perhaps we should even go further and say that the head of state should not go out there during the elections doing A, B, C, D, which disadvantages or advantages one or the other candidate, or making public comments about the persons of a candidate. Perhaps there should be some understanding along those lines to give everybody an opportunity to market himself or herself.
Indeed.
Yes.
Dr. Nahas, thank you very much for making time. You're
welcome, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it. That was Nahas Angula, is a Swapo Party veteran and former Prime Minister, commenting on the nominations of Swapo candidates ahead of Congress. Thank you for watching.